Welcome back to A Rock and a High Place, everybody. My name's Tosh Forster, and this is my video podcast. An oxymoron, I know, but this will be known as a vlog over my dead body. Big thanks to my new Patreon subscribers, Rim and John, and a big preliminary thank you to all of you for tuning into this episode. If you're having any trouble staying up to date on my latest episodes, you can follow this page on Facebook, or you can follow the official Rock and a High Place page on Instagram, as well as my new YouTube channel, which is out now. Today we're going to be talking about how the word nigga has shaped my perception of black masculinity. For those of you who know me well, you know I don't use the word nigga very often, but we're going to talk about why that is. Before we break into our pregame, I wanted to do a quick shout out to a couple other black artists absolutely killing their own projects right now. We got Porsche Betts as well as Eddie Cage out on the West Coast designing clothing as well as creating new music. And we got Luis Fernandez with Ugly Family being one of the dopest multimedia black artists out on the West Coast right now. And I can't forget about Leah Russell Self, one of 3 queer people of color who have created a page on Instagram dedicated to making a safe space for other queer people of color to heal as well as connect with nature. If you feel you need to take a moment to step back and regroup from the movement, please listen to these black artists while doing so. Taking a moment to support these artists is one of the most concrete and easy ways you can support an individual during this time. Okay, it is time for a break. Time to get high and listen to my namesake, and when we get back, we will break right into episode 7 of A Rock and a High Place. Okay, episode 7, A Nigga with Anxiety. Throughout these episodes, you're going to hear me reference a lot of when I was back in my football days in 5th and 6th grade, and the reason for that is where I first built a connection of what is black and what is not black. I've never considered myself as someone to have that much anxiety, but when it came to being around my black 5th and 6th grade peers, I was a ball of nerves. And the reason for that is because I believed that the only way they would accept me is if I became more and more black. In reality, I was trying to compensate for my lack of athletic ability with performative masculinity. And I believe that the peak of that compensation was in the form of me trying to call myself as well as my peers nigga comfortably. After all, they sounded so cool and adult when they used it that I would have done anything to be referred to and refer others as niggas. By the time I was in middle school, I had resigned myself to the fact that I was African American, but not black. Or at least, not black in the way I wanted to be. I wanted to be like Shaft, you know, saying the word shit all slowly and watching my peers move to the side of the hallways as I walked through with my big black dick swinging, calling them all niggas as I passed. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I looked a lot more like this. I wasn't exactly a Shaft lookalike, but I became convinced if I could just call black people nigga more comfortably, they would be lining up around the block so that we could do black stuff together. I clearly didn't have many black friends, but I was desperate to know what black friends did together. So this Shaft ideology made me feel insecure and emasculated around almost every single black peer I had in high school, which, you're probably guessing correctly, is not the right way to feel around people you want to be friends with. I was a black nerd. A blurred, if you will. And to me, a black person was only one of 2 things. You were either a Shaft or a blurred. But then, right around junior and senior year of high school, something really cool happened. I finally got to know my black peers. And I realized that these kids, Sajo, Ethan, Krishan, Daquan, people I had known for the last 4 or 5 years, and I'd labeled as Shaft or blurred, had really been both. Sajo organized a whole ass Black Lives Matter walkout in high school, and I was dumb enough to consider them a blurred because they never called me a nigga. And I thought Krishan was considered Shaft 2.0 for the longest time because he was dark-skinned and played football. That man is an anime-loving blurred if I'd ever met one. And Daquan and Ethan really showed me that black men in theater are so fucking cool, and there's no way they could be boxed into just one category. So a huge shout out to y'all, and any other black person I grew up with who was unapologetically themselves. Niggas or not, y'all show me exactly how black masculinity isn't something to be afraid of. To me, black masculinity is being so comfortable in your own male blackness that no one else's expectations of who you are will shift who you were meant to be. Y'all helped me grow up in a big way, and you probably had no idea. But it's a lesson I won't be forgetting soon. Thank you all for listening to episode 7, and I'll catch you next week.